Telling someone that you love them and then treating them like garbage is a form of mental abuse. Imagine hearing the words, "I love you," but the subsequent actions communicate the opposite. Actions that leave scars on the emotional well-being. Actions that are hurtful, disrespectful, or demeaning. It creates a toxic and damaging environment. The inconsistency between words and actions can lead to confusion, emotional distress, and a sense of betrayal for the person on the receiving end. It's a painful experience that erodes trust, self-esteem, and the very foundation of a healthy relationship. In such situations, it's crucial to recognize the signs of emotional abuse and take steps to address the issue. Open communication, setting boundaries, and prioritizing your mental health become essential. Nobody deserves to be treated poorly in the name of love.
It's important to recognize the signs of a toxic relationship before it consumes us. Controlling behavior, emotional manipulation, constant criticism, and disrespect. These are not love. These are warning signs. Watch carefully and note the signs of an abusive relationship.
If you're in a relationship with someone and you are saying to your partner, your words are hurting me, your actions are hurting me, your behavior is hurting me, and that partner continues to perpetrate that behavior, listen very carefully. You just might be in an abusive relationship. Let me be clear. Verbal abuse is a very real thing in relationship. Emotional abuse is a very real thing in a relationship. Mental abuse is a very real thing in a relationship. Financial abuse is a very real thing in a relationship. And if you are communicating over a period of time to your partner, what you are doing to me hurts me. How you're treating me hurts me. What you're saying to me hurts me. It's damaging me. It's wounding me. And they continue that behavior, then maybe that relationship needs to end.
I met my abuser when I was 19 years old. He was charming, and it all started amazing. And then one thing led to another. Started with little comments here and there. So it started with more verbal abuse, and then it started with a push or a shove, and then it became a choke. And I was like, all right, well, if you really choked me, and I'm thinking in my head, if you choked me harder, then I'm gonna leave. But then if every time I tried to leave, it kept getting worse, and I didn't know how to get out. And I thought that it was my fault because he truly blamed me for everything. And so I lost all my friends. I got dropped by every agent and manager in the business because I was doing terrible at auditions, and I truly felt like I was stuck. I did not know how to get out, and I didn't know there was a place that could help me. But also because I didn't know if anyone would believe me. I didn't know. So I just hid, and I hid, and I hid. And that's when I finally was like, I don't want to live my life like this anymore. So I prayed to my grandpa, and I said, please just take me away, because I don't want to be this person, because I was a girl full of light and full of energy and charm, and this man just broke me down to absolute nothing. So on that next day is when he choked me, said he was going to kill me, and ended up strangling me till I lost my breath. But I saw my whole life flash before my eyes. I saw my birth to my funeral, and I just remember seeing my mom, and it's like, why couldn't I reach out to my family? Once my abuser was in jail, and I was able to finally be set free from him. I was able to go today. I have a 14-month-old baby girl, and I would do anything in the world to protect her.
What are signs that a relationship has become toxic? I can think of way too many to mention. For example, a husband and wife are sitting here for marriage counseling. and the wife is crying about how miserable she is, and the husband rolls his eyes. That's toxic. Indifference to each other's pain. Toxic. Now, you may disagree with the other's pain. You may say, no, that's not, I never did that to you. But there is pain, and the pain is real. How can you be indifferent? Because it's not your fault? That's why the pain doesn't disturb you? That's why seeing your spouse in pain doesn't bother you? Because you figured out that it's not your fault? That's toxic. Anytime you step out of the relationship emotionally, it's an infidelity. It's toxic. Don't step out. Stay in, and you'll work it out.
For 7 years, he didn't lay a hand on me, and then he strangled me. So what are the signs that an emotional abuser is going to become a physical abuser? I wish I had known back then, but honestly, I don't think I would have listened. Listen, if there's one thing that you're going to take from this video, let it be this. Abuse is always progressive. Here's what you're looking for. The first is that there's an escalation of control. Maybe in the beginning you thought they were just a little bit controlling or just a little bit insecure or jealous, but now you're starting to feel monitored or isolated. The second is threats and intimidation. They might not be violent, but they're threatening to be violent. And this includes threatening to be violent towards themselves or other people. Number 3 is the destruction of property or animals. Throwing things, punching walls, hurting animals. This kind of behavior you just cannot dismiss or ignore. Number 4 is frequent outbursts of anger. Are you noticing that they have a shorter fuse? Are you noticing that their anger is more frequent? Does it seem like they can't control it? Number 5 is possessive behavior. This is things like extreme jealousy, accusing you of cheating when you're not. Watch for those things. Number 6 is a history of violent behavior. This can range from bar fights that you've been aware of or previous domestic violence charges. I'm embarrassed to admit this, but I actually knew that my partner had previously been charged with domestic violence. But he said that he'd been falsely accused and he was proven innocent in court. In fairness, he wasn't convicted of it, but that obviously has no bearing on a person's actual innocence. Number 7 is a lack of empathy and remorse. When they're emotionally abusive to you, do you feel like they just don't care, they have no empathy, they never apologize, or they blame you? This is a complete disregard for your well-being, and it's a potential for escalating harm. And lastly, number 8, controlling your access to resources. Resources could be transportation to work, a job, money, a phone, computer, or even just basic necessities. It's anything that prohibits your access to get help or to exit the relationship. Nothing I've said is definitive proof, but they are red flags. And I'm going to say it again because it's really important. Abuse is progressive. For 7 years, my abuser was emotionally and psychologically abusive. And to be fair, I didn't recognize it as abuse. To me, he was just mean sometimes, really mean sometimes, but he was also really nice sometimes. And sure, the niceness was less and less as time went on, but I could never have anticipated the night that everything changed. Trigger warning here, okay? We were arguing, and the funny thing is I can't even remember what we were arguing about, but I said something to just piss him off. And he grabbed my arms, threw me down on the bed, climbed on top of me, and wrapped his hands around my throat. I was 7 months pregnant, and I was trying to get the words out. I'm pregnant. Not that he didn't already know. It was like I thought he forgot. I didn't leave, and I didn't call the police. Unsurprisingly, it got worse.
Here are 7 signs you're in a toxic relationship. Number 1, you feel unsafe or scared around your partner. Number 2, your partner is constantly accusing you of things you didn't do. Number 3, your partner is always trying to control you or manipulate you. Number 4, your partner is emotionally or physically abusive. Number 5, your partner always makes you feel bad or guilty about yourself. Number 6, your partner is always criticizing you. And number 7, your partner is unwilling to compromise or cooperate in the relationship.
It starts with name calling. It starts with them being a little too rude in front of your friends. It starts with them grabbing your arm a little too rough. And keep in mind, while all of this is happening, you're falling deeply in love. Because there are some red flags, but there's never enough. And most days you're happy, and you mean that. And then maybe you'll get into an argument and they break some of your stuff. Or they push you against a wall. But then they say they're sorry, and that they love you, and they cry, and you tell yourself that because it's not a black eye, that it's okay. That's how people get into situations where they can't leave. That's how people end up in marriages where things get a lot worse. It didn't start out with that person being evil to them. It started out the same way every relationship starts out. It starts with little arguments and little fights Don't ever judge someone's situation until you've been in it. Because it is really hard to leave when you don't feel like you deserve any better.
Sometimes you gotta look at somebody and tell them, I know you love me, but your love hurts. The love you have for me is breaking me. It's destroying my soul. It's stressing me the fuck out. I know you were saying you love me, but your love is possessive. It's jealous. It's harmful. I don't doubt that you feel love towards me. The way you display it hurts me, and I can't be here no more. And I need y'all to understand that, because half the time y'all stand in this relationship because you know that that person loves you, and you think that's enough. He loves me, so I know it can work. No! Sometimes that love will destroy you, and it is. So it's not whether or not this person loves you. Quit asking that irrelevant question, because what the love look like is pain. What it looks like is abuse, neglect, lack. That's what it looks like. So whether or not he loves you or she loves you is irrelevant. What's the fruit of the love, yo?
You can love someone and still choose to say goodbye to them. You can miss a person every day and still be glad that they're no longer in your life.